Nila means blue.
Is there a blue hill in Nilachal?
According to this, yeah. I suppose it is on a hill a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know. Of course, what we can see with the mundane eye isn't necessarily the Nilachal, you know, the blue hill. Because, you know, and one of the Lord's names is Nila Chala Chandra, the moon who is beautifying the blue hill. You know, because normally we think that jewelry or ornaments, they would beautify the person, isn't it? Right? If someone's like a bit ugly, when they wear some nice things, you say, oh, look nice, right? But in this case, because the Lord's all beautiful, so he's beautifying the jewels, Nila Chala Chandra.
He's also described Bhushaner, Bhushana Anga. The ornaments, his body is the ornament for his ornaments.
Yes, exactly.
Is that the section you're reading?
No, yes, it was just coming from Nilachal. That's
same idea.
Do you know about that? The Blue Hill. Why is it called that?
Oh no, I don't know.
Apart from the Lord, the Blue Lord is on the hill in the temple. Svarup Ramananda he dui janashane Tridandi urashogita shloka ashvadane. Day and night he tasted transcendental blissful songs and verses with two associates, namely Svarup Damodar Goswami and Ramanand Roy. It's very well constructed, these verses. Kaviraj Goswami, you know, he's a poet, a Kaviraj Goswami. So it sounds very nice. Svarup Ramanand e dui janashane Tridandi rasogita shloka ashvadane. Day and night he tasted transcendental blissful songs and verses with two associates, namely Svarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. Nana bhava utte prabhur harsha shokorosh dhanjodvega arti utkanta santosh. He relished the symptoms of transcendence, such as jubilation, lamentation, anger, humility, anxiety, grief, eagerness and satisfaction. So these aren't material emotions like we experience, isn't it, in the material world, like lamentation, anger, anxiety, grief. But they're all within prema, different stages within prema bhakti. Sheshe bhavi nija shloka padiya shlokara ata ashvate dvi bandhulana. He would recite his own verses, expressing their meanings and emotions, and thus enjoy tasting them with these two friends. Konadine konna bhavi shloka pathan sei shloka ashvadite ratri jagaran. Sometimes the Lord would be absorbed in a particular emotion and would stay awake all night, reciting related verses and relishing their taste. Harshe Prabhu Kahena Shun Svarup Ram Rai Nama Sankirtan Kalo Parama Upai. In great jubilation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Svarup Damodar and Ramanand Roy, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali." In the verse he calls them Svarup and Rama Rai, of course, but in the translation they put the full name so that we can. Svarup Damodar, also called Goswami, but he was a brahmachari actually, and Ramanand Roy. So the Lord said, "My dear Svarup Damodar and Ramanand Roy, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali." Parama Upai, the most feasible means, that's translated. Sankirtana Yogi Kalo Krishna Aradhan Shaito Shumedhopai Krishna Rocharan. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So in all the Vedas, every process is a form of sacrifice, right? Yagya. In fact, one of the Vedas is called the Jajur Veda, which is come from Yagya. Sama, out of the Vedas, Rig, Sama, Jajur and Atharva. So, you know, to sacrifice your energy in some way or some means or some process, that's the thing we have to do. So here, the sacrifice is of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Sankirtan Yagya. And it is a sacrifice, although it's very, you know, pleasing and relishable, of course, according to the level or capacity or ability to taste the name, to what degree, but at the same time we may want to do so many other things, so it's a yagya as well, because we're spending our time for that. There's people who are spending their time for so many things, and they're also sacrificing for their families and for their jobs and many things, you know. But the Sankirtan Yagya. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord said, I'm among sacrifices, I'm the chanting the holy names. Then, oh yeah, that's very similar. What Lord Chaitanya said there is echoing the verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in the Search for Sri Krishna, Reality, the Beautiful book is in the chapter about the holy name. This is verses quoted by Karabhajana Muni, and it's sort of looked at, analysed and looked at from different points of view by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Krishnavanam Tvisa Krishnam Sangopangashta Parsadam Jagai Sankirtana Prayer Jajanti Hi Sumedasha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Medasha is intelligent. Sumedasha means very intelligent. But intelligent doesn't mean intelligence like you'd be winning the game show on TV. That's not like IQ intelligence. IQ means intelligence quotient, yes. But this is Buddhi Yoga, spiritual intelligence, which is either accumulated or given through time, through births, or through Bhagavat Kripa, the mercy of the Lord or his devotee. That's why people, otherwise everybody, those people who have a PhD, MA, BA, they'd be chanting Hare Krishna, right? They're very intelligent, but they're not doing that. So it must be something else. I'll read that bit from here if I can find it. Do you know what that is there? Do you know about this? The bit about that verse by Karabhajana Muni, Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishna. You know, Krishna being blackish and different meanings.
Well, it's definitely discussed in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah, it might be. Actually, it might be in.
I think it's the beginning of Golden Volcano. isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you get that from?
Yeah, sure. I'll find it.
But Maharaj, you say intelligent, but it is more, isn't it more like purification, that you are not so disturbed by selfish interest?
I beg pardon?
Like, you say intelligence,
Yeah.
to understand the higher spiritual truth, but isn't it, it's coming from the soul, and the soul is more like pure. When the soul is pure, away all these layers of selfish and interest, then it's more a purification, right? That all these layers are gone, and then the real, like everybody has it. Everybody.
Of course. But there must be, scientifically, there must be a particle of that thing inside the person for them to be able to recognize it. You know? Just like if you have one instrument here and one instrument here, and you pluck the string on this one, then the same string on that instrument, E, F, G, or whatever, start to vibrate. We call it in resonance. You know, and people, in fact, people say that, don't they? In the material world, say, "Oh, I can resonate with that." You know, I can relate to that, resonate with that. So there's something there for it to sound off, to connect with, to vibrate with. So you have to have the mercy of Krishna to be devotee of Krishna, of course. It has to start somewhere though, the Sukriti, isn't it? In the soul's journey through so many births. So this Karabhajana Muni says, Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishnam Sango Pangascha Parshadam Changai Sankirtana Prayer Jajanti Shumeda Shah. In a suppressed way, this verse explains the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The ordinary meaning of Krishna Varnam is of a black colour. So, Varna, Varna ashram. So you have your 4 Varnas and your 4 ashrams. That's, they say, the 4 material, so-called material orders. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and your 4 spiritual orders, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So here, the literal meaning of Varna is colour. So you wear a colour, white or red and so on. So colour means it's a colour, it's a colour over the thing. The thing is pure. Just like white, you have your primary colours. Well, actually they're coming from white. So it's for the time being, it's a relative dharma. You have the Sanatan dharma and you have your relative dharma. Dharma of a doctor, dharma of a lawyer, a priest, a shop seller, etc. So many dharmas. Well, in fact, it's called, they talk about Swadharma, the own person's dharma, but meaning relatively in this world, in this life. But that's all changing. That's not permanent. It's not eternal. It's not Sanatan Dharma. So Dharma means, there's many meanings, but the root of the verb dhr, D-H-R, means to sustain or to support. So Dharma means that supports or sustains something. The person. So what is that? We're sustained and supported in our life by service to Krishna. That's the Sanatan Dharma, actually, of every soul.
Is there a difference between Sanatan Dharma and Java Dharma?
No, not really. Yeah, sure. The Sanatan Dharma of the Jiva is its Dharma, it's Jaiva Dharma. So the ordinary meaning of Krishna Varnam is of a black colour, but Tvisa Krishna means his luster is not black. Accompanied by his associates, he is worshipped by the process of Sankirtan, the chanting the holy names of Krishna, and those of sharp intellect will perform this kind of worship. And Jiva Goswami, he gives an explanation of this verse, and in his own verse, which is kind of a paraphrase of it. He says, Anta Krishnang Bahir Gauram Darshitangadi Vaibhavam Khalo Sankirtanadya Ishma Krishna Chaitanyam Ashrita. I take shelter of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is outwardly of a golden complexion, but is inwardly Krishna himself. In this age of Kali, he displays his expansions while performing congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. That he is blackish within means that internally he is Krishna. That he is golden without means that he has accepted the mood of Srimati Radharani. In the age of Kali, that golden Lord is seen accompanied by his expansions, associates, and intimate devotees performing Sankirtan. And then Guru Maharaj explains that, you know, some people might say, oh, that's getting something out of the verse that isn't really there, you know, trying to twist something out. But he explains it further. And because he's saying if it's Twisa Krishnam, Akrishnam, means it's not black, doesn't necessarily mean it's golden, it just means it's not black, right? So why is he saying it therefore must be golden? And then Guru Maharaj is quoting something from Srimad Bhagavatam to explain this about the birth of Krishna. So when they were going to perform the name-giving ceremony for Krishna, so of course they sent for the rishi. You know, every town, every village has their local astrologer and priest. They're combined. And it was Garga Muni. Has his own book, the Garga Samhita. So Govinda Maharaj is very fond of that because it tells some pastimes that we don't see explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Quite nice things. At that time, Garga Rishi came to the house of Nanda Maharaj and explained that Vasudeva had sent him. Oh, Vasudeva. Oh, okay, Vasudeva in Mathura. That's it. Very nice. He sent Garga Rishi to the house in Vrindavan for the name ceremony of Krishna. So he came to the house of Nanda Papa and he explained that Vasudeva had sent him. He said, your child is now a little grown up and the name-giving ceremony must be performed. And then he spoke this verse, Asan Varnas Trayo Hyasya Krihinato Nu Jugang Tanu Shuklo Raktas Tata Pita Idaning Krishna Tangata. In past incarnations, this boy has appeared with different complexions, white, red and gold, according to the particular age in which he appeared. Now he has assumed this blackish colour. He said, Krishna comes in a white colour in Satyuga, red in Treta Yuga, and he also comes with a golden complexion. Now in this Dwapara Yuga he has come in a black colour. So the reference to the golden colour, Pita, is found here, because only that colour has been left for this present age of Kali. Oh. So he mentioned the white, the black and the red, but so far no gold. So the gold is in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pita means golden. Pitambara means Krishna wears a yellow or golden dhoti. Remember there was one devotee called Pitambara Prabhu. It was very, don't know where he is now. There's another reference to this golden colour in the Upanishads. Jata Pasya Pashyate Rukmavanam. Krishna, the Supreme Brahman, appears in a golden form. Rukma Varnam means golden. And here also in this verse, non-black means golden. Krishna wanted to come as the incarnation for this age of Kali, as well as to fulfill his promise in Vrindavan. The promise is, he said, I shall chant the glory of the gopis, especially Radharani. I shall chant her name, her glory, and roll in the dust of the earth. But Radharani said, I won't allow your body to roll in the dust of this earth. I shall cover you with my lustre. Both the mood as well as the lustre of Radharani capture Krishna when he comes here in Kali Yuga. And this does not occur in all Kali Yugas, but only in a special Kali Yuga. In all the days of Brahma, in every Yuga, the Yugavatar comes. But Krishna appears only once in a day of Brahma, or once every 4.3 billion years. It's supposed to be 71 Mahayugas in every day of Brahma. A Mahayuga or Divya Yuga, Satyatreta Dwapara Kali, 71 of them in every day of Brahma, not every life, day, every day. So only when one of those Kali Yugas, once in every day of Brahma, the Lord is coming as Radha Govinda combined. Otherwise he's giving the Yuga Dharma, but not entrance into the highest.
What Dharma leads to?
Full Krishna consciousness, of course, but with the added impetus of Mahaprabhu himself coming as in the mood of Radharani in separation from Krishna. That's opening that up and showing that. Because, see, only he himself can do that. Only the Lord himself can show that, of course. So that's when he comes. There's the original personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan. He appears along with his abodes Vrindavan and Navadip. And Krishna and Mahaprabhu do not come here alone, but they come with their paraphernalia and suitable companions. And in this age of Kali, he performs a double function. He preaches Nama Sankirtan, and more important, he assumes the mood of Radharani to taste his own sweetness, rasa.
So Maharaj, if he comes and teaches Yuga Dharma, would that be more like in Vishnu form, not like Krishna in the Vrindavan form?
Yes, as Yuga avatar.
As an incarnation, one of the incarnations of Krishna.
Yeah.
So then there is two Mahamantras. One Mahamantra given by Mahaprabhu as a Yuga Dharma, and one Mahamantra given as by Mahaprabhu as a
Yes, you can say that, but it's not that the Yuga avatar Mahaprabhu, when he comes, and the other times is the Mahamantra is less. The Mahamantra is the Mahamantra, but because he says here more important, when he assumes the mood of Radharani to taste his own sweetness, coming as Mahaprabhu that way, more important in the sense is it's more rare, so it's more valuable. So Krishna thinks, what is the intensity of the finest rasa in me? I would like to taste that. But only devotees can taste that. So he took the position of Radharani to taste himself as Krishna, the central, final and perfect abode of rasa. Only Radharani can taste the maximum rasa, so he has to take her nature, her mood and temperament, to taste his own intrinsic ecstasy. For that reason he descended. His first duty was to spread Nama Sankirtan, and the secondary, internal, private duty was to perform Bhajana Vibhajan, to taste his own intrinsic ecstasy in the mood of Radharani. In Puri with Ramanand Roy, Svarup Damodar and other intimate associates, he tasted that great ocean of union in separation continuously for 12 years. In his last 12 years he passed his time only in the process of tasting that mellow. That incarnation is generally worshipped by Sankirtan. Without Sankirtan, Gauranga and his paraphernalia cannot be worshipped. He is the propounder of Sankirtan. He loves Sankirtan, and he gets satisfaction only by Sankirtan. But only those who have sufficient merit will worship him by this process. The common mob cannot join this campaign. Those who have good guidance internally, good fortune, can catch the very gist of truth and engage in this process of Nama Sankirtan. A rubbish brain cannot detect what is right or wrong, or how precious this is. He cannot understand or follow this higher line of thought. A person should be judged by his ideal, his aspiration for higher things. If the ideal is great, the man is great. What should be the highest ideal? Love. Love is the supreme thing. It is the most rare and precious thing. But love, not meaning the sort of, this word is so difficult. It's not really, it can mean so many things to different people, and has been so much misused also. It doesn't mean a soppy feeling, or something like that. Divine love and beauty is the highest thing ever known to the world, and those who can catch this are really possessed of good intellect, su medasha. And one who possesses this highest ideal should be considered to be a man of higher order. Sorry, Gurma is saying man, but don't be very politically correct these days. But you understand, person.
We have no problem with it.
Oh, good. Okay.
So there are a couple of times I've heard Maharaj say, like, man or woman.
Yes.
We know he says man,
yeah,
he means human.
Yeah. And also, that verse? How does it go? Amritasya Putra, oh you sons of nectar.
Oh, yeah.
Sons of the... What about daughters? Hello?
Well, if I'm using that verse, I'll translate it children.
Children, yeah. Although actually Putra means son.
Yeah.
Literally.
But nowadays in modern audiences, that won't go down well.
So then, that he quotes the verse by the Karabhajana saint, and then Mahaprabhu was speaking, Nama Sankirtan hoite sarvanata nasha sarva shubhodoy Krishna premmer ulas. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, one can be freed from all undesirable habits. This is the means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the flow of waves of love for Krishna. See, sarva arnata nash is, he translated as all undesirable habits. Okay. Nasha means to destroy, but sort of like completely, like atomize, decimate or massacre, or so they can't ever be reconstructed again. And then anartha. Generally, we say anartha is, translated differently as faults, hindrances, undesirable things. Literally, artha means what is necessary, and anartha, what is not necessary. So everything that's not Krishna consciousness or for Krishna is an anartha, is unnecessary in that sense. So sarva, sarvanata nash, okay. So this is the means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the flow of waves of love for Krishna. So you have to keep at it, you see. There's all these glorifications of the holy name. There's a book called Namamrit. We used to have that in ISKCON. I've got a different version of it I got recently in Ireland, in Govinda's, in the restaurant. But it was an Indian version of it, kind of made in Bombay or something. Basically it was the same, a little different, but it's a compilation of all the verses about the name from all the books of Srila Prabhupada. So that's nice. But at the same time we have to keep at it, because as Rupa Goswami says, he giving the example, like the person who has jaundice, will be taking the sugar candy, and the sugar candy, which is naturally sweet, but because of the disease in the body of the person, will taste bitter. Funny thing, huh? But they continue taking regularly every day, as sincerely as they can, as devotionally as they can, and so forth. Then, as the disease is slowly cured, then as the health in the body comes, they'll start to taste the sweetness of the sugar candy, which is there. So then he gives the verse of the verses. First one. Do you want to chant it with me together? If you know. Cheto darpanamajanam bhava mahadevagni nivapanam shrayakairava chandrika vittaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivadanam pratipadam punamritashvadanam savatmasna param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Sometimes I say that, like every religion, right? Let's call it religion, because we're supposed to be into spirituality, right? Not religion. Okay, but let's say faith tradition. So they have their, 8 precepts in Buddhism. You have your 10 commandments. Christianity, 10 commandments, but also the 7 beatitudes, which are given by Christ himself, which are an intensified, updated, and deeper form, you could say, of the 10 commandments. It's very difficult to follow. Like 10 commandments, for example, says, thou shalt not steal, but he's saying even if you think of that, that's already like stealing, or adultery, etc. So it's much more difficult. But anyway, so we have the 8 verses of Shikshashtakam. Yeah, that's like our precepts. So we have to know them. It's helpful also to recite them if we're chanting the name, japa. We can, between each round, we can say one. It's a very easy way to learn if you don't know them. Within 2 weeks, definitely, you'll learn them completely. Just between each round, you say one, then the next one, like this. Yeah. So then you finish one round and then you go nam nam akari bahudani next one, and then next round Trinada piece. Yeah, it's a good practice. In ISKCON we used to do the Panchatattva mantra in between every time, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. There's no hard and fast rules, because you can just chant continuously, but it is helpful, makes a break, and it gives you a fresh, kind of start and fresh inspiration when you're chanting.
When we come to the big beat, that we then chant the Pancha.
Is it Panchatattva mantra? Okay. I can't remember. It was so long ago I was initiated.
Or when your mind wanders, maybe.
Yeah. Right. Book's falling apart. Sorry, just trying to get it. There you are. Yeah. This is a nice verse by Rupa Goswami. In case you're thinking about the holy name, why that, how that can be so spiritual. It's very difficult sometimes for us to believe that, you know. I find myself, I mean how the name and Krishna are one and the same and non-different. But he says, Tunde tandavaniratim vitanute tundavali lobdhai karna kroda kadambini ghatayate karne bhut debhyak spriham chetak prangana shangani bijayate sarvendriyanam kritim na jane janita kiyadbhir amritai krishneti vanadvai. When the holy name of Krishna appears on the lips, it begins madly dancing. Then the name takes over and handles him as if the person to whom the lips belong loses all control over his lips. And the devotee says, with one mouth, how much can I gather the ecstasy of the holy name? I need millions of mouths to taste its unlimited sweetness. I'll never feel any satisfaction by chanting with only one mouth. When the sound Krishna enters the ear, he feels that transcendental sound awaken in his heart. What are two ears, he thinks. This is the greatest injustice of the Creator. I need millions of ears. Then, if I could hear the sweet name of Krishna, my heart might be a little satisfied. I want millions and millions of ears to hear the sweet name of Krishna. This is the temperament of a devotee when his attention is drawn towards the holy name. Then he faints. He loses himself, merging in an ocean of ecstasy and joy. And in great disappointment he says, I failed to understand the quality and quantity of the substance of Krishna's name. I am perplexed. What sort of honey sweetness does this name contain? In this way the chant of the name wanders. So that first verse, Chaito Dharpanamadhanam, and then here. It's here, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you find different translations of this verse. Here's another, the one I read just here, Srila Prabhupada is translating like that. Here we have, the holy name of Krishna cleanses the mirror of the heart and extinguishes the fire of misery in the forests of birth and death. As the evening lotus blooms in the moon's cooling rays, the heart begins to blossom in the nectar of the name. So that idea is there. Here it says, that chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune. But it's not so clear the idea of opening up. The lotus is opening, yes, under the beautiful rays of the moon. Apparently there's a lotus that only opens under the moon, not under the sun. And the nectar of them. And at last the soul awakens to its real inner treasure, a life of love with Krishna. Yes, it mentions there Vidya Vadu Jivanam, the life. Again and again, tasting nectar, the soul dives and surfaces in the ever-increasing ocean of ecstatic joy. All phases of the self of which we may conceive are fully satisfied and purified and at last conquered by the all-auspicious influence, the holy name of Krishna. Which is saying here, it's like a way of the more general translation is it gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. What Guru Maharaj is saying, all phases of the self of which we may conceive is every nook and corner, every nook and cranny of the soul, every you can say every atom of our soul or something. It's very purified, satisfied, and then conquered by the all-auspicious influence of the holy name of Krishna. I think Bhakti Thakur gives a slightly different. In his Sikshastakam, in his form of bhajans, okay, we're giving the same as everyone here in Golden Volcano is given the same in the songbook, naturally, for Guru Maharaj. But then he gives his kind of, it's a combined kind of translation and commentary. That he says, Pita Bharana Kali Bhavana Gora Gaya Aichana Bhava Vibhora. Lord Gauranga, whose complexion is golden and who's the deliverer of the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, sings as follows, overwhelmed with spiritual ecstasy. Chitta Darpana Parimajana Kari Krishna Kirtan Joy Chitta Bihari. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It thoroughly cleanses the mirror of the heart and is the delight of the soul. So Chaitan is, Chaitanya is consciousness, Chitta. But Chitta can be variously translated as mind, consciousness, self, inner being. Patanjali says Chitta Vritti Nirod, first sutra of his Yoga Sutras, that the purpose and the goal of yoga is to quell the oscillations of the mind. The Chitta Vritti Nirod means to cancel. But here meaning the cleansing the mirror of the heart, consciousness. It thoroughly cleanses the mirror of the heart and is the delight of the soul. Hela bhava dava nirvapana vritti. Yeah, vritti, again this word. Krishna kirtan joy klesha nibritti. All glories to the chanting the holy name of Krishna. It extinguishes the forest fire of material existence and removes all material tribulations. Mahadavagni Nivapanam, the great forest fire. Davagni. In Vrindavan is Davanala Kund, where Krishna swallowed the forest fire. The Davanala. So Mahadavagni, the great forest fire, Nirvapanam, extinction, Nirvana, Nirvapanam, second effect only of the holy name. First, cleansing the mirror of the heart, the mind, then extinguishing the forest fire of material miseries. Shreya Kumuda Bidu Jyotsna Prakash Krishna Kirtan Joy Bhakti Vilas. Yeah, so that's, he's explaining it now, that this thing about the lotus opening under the effects of the holy name. Making the white lotus of the soul's good fortune blossom and bloom. Krishna Kirtan is the Bhakti Vilas, the beautiful pastime of devotion. Vishuddha Vidya Vadhu Jivana Roop, Krishna Kirtan Jai Siddha Svarup. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It reveals one's pure identity in relationship with the Lord, even up to divine consulthood. This chanting is the real perfection of life. Ananda Payonidhi Badhana Kirti Krishna Kirtan Joy Pravanamurti. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna Kirtan causes the ocean of ecstatic joy to overflow. It is an inundation of divine love. Yeah, that's Anandam Buddhi Vada, the Anandam Buddhi, the ocean of Ananda, which is infinite. If an ocean is infinite, right, how can it overflow? It can't overflow if it's already infinite. There's nowhere for it to go, because it's covering everything already. But somehow it overflows on top of that. So that's Pade Pade Pidusha Svada Pradata Krishna Kirtan Joy Prem Vidhata. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna Kirtan gives one a taste of fully satisfying nectar at every step. Ultimately, it bestows ecstatic love of Godhead. Bhakti Vinod Swatma Shnapana Vidhan Krishna Kirtan Joy Prem Nidan. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It bathes the soul of Bhakti Vinod. This chanting is a storehouse of love of Godhead. And then you can read the commentary on the verses here in Golden Volcano for more complete thing. Sankirtan hoite papa samsara nasan chit shuddhi sarva bhakti sadhana udgam. By performing congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence, purify the unclean heart, and awaken all varieties of devotional service. So this is the only process to awaken ourselves to devotional service. Because there are other processes of practices and sadhanas which supposedly can destroy or negate the sinful reactions, yes? But the tendency to sin, that has to be completely uprooted as well. Otherwise, if the seeds are there, the plant will come up again in another condition, another time when the conditions are right for that, you know. So these things go back a long way, you know, like we say different stages, prarabdha, what we're experiencing now, happiness and distress, as a fruit of our own actions there now. Aparabdha, the ones that are just waiting to come on the stage. And kuta, and bij is a seed, and kut is like it's not even a seed, it's like a subtle form of the seed, so it's very remote, you know. Maybe those ones are only going to be being activated in like a few lifetimes, you know. So we've got to do something about it now, chanting Hare Krishna, otherwise we don't know what we're being for. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and engages in his devotional service, as if immersing himself in a great ocean of love. It may be that Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his verses has referenced these, you know, because they're quite similar, the use of the language from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lamentation and humility awoke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began reciting another of his own verses. By hearing the meaning of that verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. That's the second verse, which we haven't got time to look at. Nam namakari bahudinijya sharva shaktish tatrapita niyamata smarane nakala itadrishitava kripa bhagavan mamapi dudaivam idrisham ihajani nanuragaha. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity, and therefore you have many names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You've invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offences while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. There's so much in that verse as well. When it says there's no hard and fast rules, niyamita smarane nakalaha. For remembering smarane, your holy names, remembering means chanting and remembering, hearing and chanting. Nakala, there's no time. There are no meaning time, place and circumstances. You can chant anywhere, any time. Doesn't mean there's no rules. We've got 10 offences, right? We're supposed to avoid. So there are rules in that sense. Avoid the 10 offences, 4 kinds of namapas. But here's the paradox, that you've made it so easy for the conditioned souls, Kali Kukur, dogs of Kali Yuga, to remember, and to remember you, then to get the highest by this simple method, but they're not doing it. Either they're not doing it, or they're doing it, and they're not, seem to be, what is that? Dudaivam I Drisham I Hajani Nanuraga. Nanuraga, I'm not getting any attachment for chanting. What to speak of taste? Just at least have some attachment first. Don't worry about. Then, Dudaivam, I'm very unfortunate. And the reason is because of offences. It doesn't say it directly in the verse, but in the translation also here, it's giving that. But that's based on Bhakti Thakur's realisation. So as much as possible, there's so many instructions, of course, about chanting. You can hear them and read them from the books and the teachings. But essentially, when you're chanting, to chant like without any, it's not fruitively, like in the mode of passion, we're trying to get some result. Just chant, just let go and chant like it's a glorification of the Lord, for the Lord's pleasure and its service. And it's the service mood in the chanting that actually gives the connection, that why Krishna will come to the person, is attracted to come to the person through their service mood, not through their expertise of chanting like so many or so this way or that way, but their intense hankering for seva, to be utilized in service to the Lord. And we'll find that also, sometimes we're chanting and it might be a little bit dry, or very dry for some time, and we should look and then analyse and say, no, wait a minute, what am I doing? How am I doing this? Then we might realise, oh, I'm doing it because I'm thinking, where's the bliss? Where's the bliss? All this thing I've heard about the holy name. I've got to get it, got to get it, got to get it. And it's completely wrong, it's not coming. So you let go of that and just, then it'll come a little bit. A little bit means Krishna's mercy will help you. And that's enough. Because a part of the infinite is also infinite. Yeah, so another way he explains in his commentary on Mana Shiksha, Bhakti Thakur there, about these 8 verses, so they're corresponding to the Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha-Nivriti, these 8 stages or steps. And he gives the corresponding meaning according to the verse. It's very interesting. And also other meanings as well. He explains it according to Ashtakaliya Leela. So, as you know, 24 hours, and there's 8 divisions of 3 hours. So each one is, Chaitodharpana, Marjanam, Nam Namakadi, Trinadapi, according to the pastimes. It's very esoteric, Bhakti Thakur's writings. But we don't necessarily need to know all about that. But the main thing is that to have some faith in the holy name, like Srila Prabhupada said on his poem on the boat, on the Jaladuta coming to America, he's saying, I have no knowledge or devotion, but I do have strong faith in the holy name. So please, Lord, as your puppet, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. Of course, and that happened, And Guru Maharaj said the actual point where, because when they asked him, he's Shakti Vaish, yes, empowered, but of who specifically? And he said Nityananda Prabhu. But that point on the ship, when he had the 2 heart attacks, and it's in his diary, you see on the page, the pen's actually going like that, just like it's just like, collapsed or something. So he said at that point, that was when the Avesh came in him. Because, he should have, according to, astrologically or materially. He should have gone at that time, but he was saved for that big purpose, you know. And there's a new Hare Krishna film. My friend, he invited me to the premiere. I mean, he just got 2 free tickets. And I went. Anyway, it's a lovely film, 2.5 hours long, all the story of Prabhupada in a full, super, you know, production, very nice and so on. But in there it mentions, and it's actually got the recording of Srila Prabhupada's voice, when he first came to New York, and he was like really, really struggling for the first year in the Bowery, which is the slum section, New York City. You know, so they say you had to step over the drunks, you know, by the doorstep to go in. And it's like not a good situation. It's before they got the first temple matchless gift. So he was there, and then it was very, very hard. Very hard for him, you know. I mean, it's just a strange city. He didn't know anyone. You know, the story, had to keep his prasad in the fridge with the meat on the other shelf. Sally Agarwal, she's married to a Hindu, supposed Hindu guy, Mr. Agarwal. So Sally Agarwal said, "Oh, Swamiji, you can put your food here, and we'll keep the meat here," you know. It's like Guru Maharaj thought that was very extraordinary. And then one time, when Srila Prabhupada came back in India with his first American disciples, and he was sitting having prasad with Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada and Sridhar Maharaj, and Govinda Maharaj was like there, sort of like to wait on them, you know, sort of humbly. And of course, Srila Prabhupada knew Govinda Maharaj very well, you know, said he's my favourite son and all this, that. First distributor of Back to Godhead magazine, or page as it was then, so copied page, you know. And so he said, "Oh no, Govinda, come and sit and have prasad," you know. And no, Maharaj, because he's thinking, oh, now he's like world acharya and he's so great, and I, you know, shouldn't. And then he was kind of insisting, and then finally he said, Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh, because I've been in the West and I've associated with all the Mlechas and Yavanas, and you're Brahmin boy, so you don't want to sit with me like that." Then of course Govinda said, "No, of course," and sat down and said, but anyway, in that first time in New York, and someone actually broke into his apartment, can you believe it, stole his typewriter and his manuscript of Bhagavad Gita, which was half finished, Bhagavad Gita as it is. I mean, you think, well, what are they going to do with that, you know? Some bum stealing it to buy drugs or something, it's crazy. Anyway, and on the tape, it's on the film, it's actually his voice actually saying, "And I was very depressed. And I said, I cannot stay in this place, I must leave," you know. And he went down to the harbour several times, 2 or 3 times at least, and asked the man, when is the next boat for Calcutta? Yeah, he didn't go, of course. And he was writing to his godbrothers, and he didn't get any answers. Can you send a mridanga? Can you this or something? But only Sridhar Maharaj wrote back, actually, and said, "No, it's a desire of our Guru Maharaj, and you're you know, basically you're the man, you know, you can do it. You have to do it. You have to stay there, you know." It was encouraging like that. It's not mentioned, of course, in the film, you know. And that's lovely. So we finished there, and. Kantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.
It's all a big miracle. I mean, you're so used to the story. It's so miraculous.
Yeah.
And all the books that you translated, that age, going through all this difficulties.
He's going to chant for us, for the pleasure of their lordships. Hari Hare. Would you? Oh yeah, I didn't chant yet, did I? I better chant that. What page is it? 60.
60, yeah.
Oh, play this. Hari Hare Namma Krishna Jadavaya Namo. Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Gopal Iti Tari Gopinaka Madana Mohan Giridhari Gopinaka Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Radharhar Shiva Shari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rup Sanatana Bhakta Raghuna Gopal Bhakta Das Raghuna Hoye Joy Gosai Kori Charana Banda Jahuti Vignanas Avishta Pura Chai go chai jaramu itarada Tanshabar padare numor panchagra Tandere charana se vivakta saniga Jai Gosai Jave Prajay Koilava Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash Anandi Bolo Hari Ajya Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Jai Mam Shri Guru Vaishnava Padma Kariya Hadi Nam Sankirtan Koi Narasamoda Allah Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Haribo.
Jai Shri Hari Nama Sankirtan.